Muhammad, Muslim prophet, or someone else entirely? Torpedo 4, the Quran. Muhammad and the Quran. The standard Islamic narrative or sin requires us to believe that Muhammad was the prophet who received a revelation, that is the Quran, as the last and most important prophet sent by God. This same prophet is supposed to be the exemplar for all mankind. Yet this same Quran mentions Muhammad only 4 times, compared with Moses at 136 times, Abraham 79 times, Mary 34 times, and Jesus 24 times. Even Pharaoh is mentioned more times than Muhammad at 70 times. If the Muhammad of the standard Islamic narrative really existed, and he really received the Quran as revelation, then the Quran should have mentioned him many times, just like Moses being mentioned many times in the Torah, and Jesus being mentioned many times in the Gospel. But the standard Islamic narrative would have us believe that the most important man in the history of Islam, according to the sin, is only mentioned 4 times in the entire book that was supposedly revealed to him. Not only is this not consistent with historical evidence, it just does not make sense. What makes more sense? The term Muhammad or MHMD can be used as an honorific title indicating desired, chosen, or praised. As we have seen, historical and written evidence suggests that in the 7th century, Muhammad was a Christological predicate, that is, an honorific title for Jesus. When we look at 3 out of the 4 references to Muhammad in the Quran, that is chapter 3 verse 144, chapter 47 verse 2, and chapter 48 verse 29, they make more sense if we read the word Muhammad as the praised one and a title for Jesus. The other reference, chapter 33 verse 40, is seen by many scholars as a later interpolation, that is, it was added at a later date. The scholar Karl-Heinz Ohlig sums it up this way, quote, 3 mentions of the form Muhammad can be related to Jesus, if not with certainty, then at least in all probability. They can only be understood as referring to the prophet of the Arabs if they are read from the perspective of the traditional literature of the 9th century, emphasis added. So paraphrasing the scholar, he's essentially saying that if you put away the Islamic traditions, then these references are about Jesus. So analysis of the Quran is consistent with archaeological and written sources. It is highly unlikely that the Muhammad of the standard Islamic narrative or sin existed in the 7th century. Torpedo 4 scores a direct hit.